I always knew my father preferred my cousin David, but I never thought he'd hand over our 40-year-old luxury car dealership to him. Not after I'd spent the last 5 years transforming Jackson Premier Motors from a struggling traditional dealership into one of California's most successful automotive businesses. My name is Alexandra Jackson, and until last night, I was the chief operating officer of my family's dealership chain. Today, I'm watching everything I built get handed to someone who thinks Twitter is a revolutionary business strategy. The irony? If they hadn't been so busy plotting my removal, they might have noticed what I'd been building on the side. It started 2 years ago, when I first saw the shifting trends in luxury car sales. While David was busy posting photos of himself with Ferraris on Instagram, I was studying the electric vehicle market, particularly the growing demand for high-end EVs among our wealthy Silicon Valley clientele. Electric cars are a fad, my father scoffed during one board meeting. Our customers want real luxury vehicles, not glorified golf carts. David, fresh from his MBA and full of buzzwords, agreed. Our brand identity is rooted in traditional luxury. We need to focus on expanding our supercar inventory. But I saw something different in our sales data. Our younger customers, especially tech executives, were asking about EVs more frequently. Many were going elsewhere for their purchases. We were losing market share, not to other traditional dealerships, but to Tesla and emerging electric brands. So I began making moves quietly. First, I established a separate consulting company, AJ Future Mobility, using my personal savings. Then I started attending clean energy conferences, building relationships with emerging EV manufacturers, particularly those targeting the luxury market. Taking some time off, David asked mockingly when I returned from one such conference. Must be nice to have so much free time while some of us are actually working. If he'd bothered to check, he would have seen that our revenue had increased 40% in the departments I managed, but David was too busy cultivating his image as the young, dynamic future of the company to notice actual business metrics. The real breakthrough came 6 months ago. Through my consulting firm, I secured exclusive distribution rights negotiations with 3 upcoming luxury EV manufacturers for the entire West Coast. These weren't just any electric cars. These were vehicles that could outperform Ferraris while being environmentally conscious, exactly what our evolving customer base wanted. I tried one last time to bring this opportunity to the family business. We need to diversify, I argued during a strategy meeting. The luxury market is shifting. We should be positioning ourselves ahead of the curve. Nonsense, my father dismissed. We stick to what we know. David, what's your take? David launched into a presentation about expanding our exotic car inventory and increasing our social media presence. I sat quietly, watching my father nod approvingly, knowing what was coming. The annual company gala was last night. We always held it at the main showroom, surrounded by millions of dollars worth of luxury vehicles. The room was packed with employees, suppliers, and longtime customers. My father took the stage, champagne in hand. Tonight marks a new chapter for Jackson Premier Motors, he announced. For 40 years, we've been the leading luxury car dealer in California. But to stay on top, we need fresh thinking, bold leadership. I felt the shift in the room before he even said it. That's why I'm announcing a change in leadership. Effective immediately, my nephew David will be taking over as CEO. Additionally, he paused, looking directly at me, we'll be streamlining our executive team. Alexandra, your position has been eliminated. The room went silent. David stepped forward, sporting his practiced humble smile. I'm honored to lead this company into the future. And cousin Alex, don't worry, we'll make sure you get a good severance package. Security was already moving toward me. They planned this humiliation down to the last detail. Please escort Ms. Jackson out, my father commanded. Her access to company systems has already been revoked. I stood up calmly, smoothed my dress, and walked toward the exit with my head held high. As I passed David, I smiled and said quietly, enjoy your moment. See you Monday. He frowned slightly, but was quickly surrounded by well-wishers. In my car, I pulled out my phone and sent a pre-written email to my attorney. Time to set things in motion. What my father and David didn't know was that while they were planning my removal, I'd been building something much bigger. Those EV distribution rights I'd secured, they weren't just for any companies. One was for Lucid Motors' ultra-luxury line. Another was for Rimac hypercars. And the third, well, That was the real bombshell. I'd spent the last 6 months negotiating with Tesla's executive team about a new premium dealership model, something that could revolutionize how high-end electric vehicles are sold. And yesterday morning, just hours before the gala, I'd received the final signed agreements. My phone buzzed. A message from Lisa Chen, Tesla's VP of Sales Strategy. Everything set for Monday's announcement. Elon's tweet scheduled for 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I smiled, thinking about the look on David's face when he realizes that the future of luxury car sales isn't in his Instagram posts, but in the deals I've been quietly making. Because while they were busy plotting my downfall, I was building my own empire. And Monday morning, when Tesla announces its first ever authorized luxury dealership partnership, the whole industry will learn who really understands the future of automotive sales. I drove home to my apartment overlooking Silicon Valley, where my real office was set up. 3 monitors displayed data feeds from the EV market, prototype designs from our partner manufacturers, and architectural plans for what would become the largest luxury EV dealership network on the West Coast. On my desk sat a framed photo from 20 years ago, me at 12, standing proudly next to my father at the dealership, dreaming of running the family business. I turned the frame face down. Sometimes building your own future means letting go of the past. And sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's success that makes others realize exactly what they threw away. As I reviewed the contracts one last time, I thought about something my mother used to say before she passed. In business, like in chess, always think 5 moves ahead. I had done more than that. I created a whole new game. And Monday morning, everyone would learn the rules. Monday morning dawned clear and bright in Silicon Valley. I sat in my home office, 3 monitors displaying everything I needed. Financial news feeds, social media trending topics, and a countdown clock to 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. My phone buzzed. A message from David. Very mature, Alex. Father wants to know why you're telling people you'll see them Monday. Clean out your desk and move on. I didn't reply. Instead, I watched the clock tick down while sipping my coffee from my favorite Tesla mug. A gift from their executive team after signing our historic agreement. At exactly 9 o'clock a.m., it began. Elon Musk's tweet appeared first. Excited to announce Tesla's first authorized luxury dealership partnership. At Age of Future Mobility will revolutionize how premium EVs are sold. Press conference at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Within minutes, the automotive and tech news sites exploded. Tesla breaks no dealership policy with revolutionary partnership. Luxury EV market disrupted. Tesla announces major retail strategy shift. Who is Alexander Jackson? My phone erupted with notifications, LinkedIn messages from industry executives, texts from former colleagues, missed calls from automotive journalists, and of course, increasingly panicked messages from my family. At 9:15 a.m., my father called. I let it go to voicemail. Then David called. Then our company's board members. I had more important calls to handle. Everything's set for the press conference, Lisa from Tesla confirmed. The renderings of the new dealership design are stunning, ready to shock the world. I smiled, looking at the architectural plans on my wall, not just for one dealership, but for an entire network of premium EV retail locations. More than ready. At 9:45 a.m., I pulled up to the gleaming glass building we'd chosen for the announcement. Hundreds of journalists and industry figures were already gathering. As I stepped out of my car, a Lucid Air Dream Edition, cameras started flashing. Inside, I found my father and David had somehow finagled their way in. They were arguing with the security team. This is ridiculous, my father was saying. I'm her father. I run the largest luxury car dealership in California. Not anymore, I said, walking past them. And this is a private event. But since you're here, why don't you stay and learn something about the future of automotive retail? Before they could respond, I was whisked away by our PR team. Minutes later, I stood on stage beside Tesla's executives, Lucid's CEO, and representatives from Rimac. Ladies and gentlemen, I began. The luxury automotive market is changing. Today's premium car buyers want more than just performance and prestige. They want innovation, sustainability, and a buying experience that matches their values. The presentation screens behind me lit up with renderings of our new dealership concept. a revolutionary retail space that combined traditional luxury showroom elements with cutting-edge technology and environmental consciousness. AJ Future Mobility isn't just creating dealerships, we're building experience centers where technology meets luxury. Through our exclusive partnerships with Tesla, Lucid Motors, and Rimac, we'll offer the most advanced vehicles in the world in an environment that matches their innovation. I outlined our plans: 15 locations across the West Coast within 2 years, dedicated charging networks, VR test drive experiences, personal configurator lounges, service centers specializing in electric supercars. And this is just the beginning, I continued. We've also secured first rights for upcoming luxury EV brands entering the US market. From my peripheral vision, I could see my father's face growing redder with each announcement. David was frantically typing on his phone, probably trying to figure out how he'd miss all this. The questions from journalists came rapid fire. How long have these partnerships been in development? What's the total investment value? Will traditional luxury brands be affected? I answered each one confidently, watching our stock price climb as I spoke. Yes, we had secured over $300 million in funding from top tech investors. Yes, this would transform the luxury car market. No, traditional dealerships wouldn't be able to simply copy our model. Our exclusive contracts and relationships made sure of that. After the press conference, my father tried to approach me. Alexandra, we need to talk. Surely we can work something out. Bring this to Jackson Premier Motors. Like you brought me into the company's future. I replied coolly. Besides, you can't afford it anymore. What do you mean? I nodded toward the screens displaying financial news. Jackson Premier Motors stock had dropped 30% since the announcement. Our suppliers were already calling them, worried about the future of traditional luxury car sales. Your exotic car inventory is about to become a lot less desirable, I explained. When people can buy an electric hypercar that outperforms a Ferrari while helping the environment, those gas-guzzling supercars start looking pretty outdated. Just like your business model. David stepped forward, his social media influencer confidence cracking. You can't do this to the family business. I'm not doing anything to it, I replied. You and Dad did this when you decided that your ego was more important than seeing where the market was actually heading. I tried to tell you about the EV trend. You didn't listen. Over the next few months, our first flagship location opened in Silicon Valley. The design was stunning, a perfect blend of modern architecture and environmental consciousness. Tesla's top-end models shared space with Lucid's luxury sedans and Rimac's electric hypercars. The Customer Experience Center, with its VR test drives and personalization lounges, set a new standard for automotive retail. Traditional luxury dealerships scrambled to adapt, but they were years behind. Our exclusive contracts with the leading EV manufacturers had locked up the premium electric market. Jackson Premier Motors struggled. Their exotic car sales plummeted as wealthy tech executives and young entrepreneurs shifted to high-performance EVs. 6 months after our launch, they were forced to sell several locations. Then came an unexpected visit. My cousin David's daughter, Rachel, showed up at our flagship store. At 19, she was studying environmental engineering and had a passion for sustainable technology. This is amazing, she said, looking around our showroom. Dad never understood why I wasn't interested in the family business. But this is the future. I gave her a tour, explaining our vision for sustainable luxury. By the end, she had tears in her eyes. Would you consider taking an intern? She asked. I want to learn the right way to move the industry forward. Looking at her enthusiasm, I saw a chance to bridge the family divide. Not through the old business, but through the new one we could build together. Today, AJ Future Mobility is revolutionizing how premium cars are sold. Our network has expanded beyond the West Coast, with plans for international locations. The old photo of me and my father remains face down on my desk, but new pictures have taken its place. Our team at store openings, Rachel leading our sustainability initiatives, happy customers with their electric dream cars. Last week, a reporter asked if I felt vindicated by my success. This was never about vindication, I told her. It was about seeing the future clearly and having the courage to build it. Sometimes the best response to being pushed out isn't to push back. It's to move forward so fast they can't catch up. My father still owns what's left of Jackson Premier Motors, though David quit to start a social media consulting firm. They sell fewer cars in a year than we do in a month. Sometimes at industry events, I see them watching me from across the room. They look older now, tired from trying to keep their declining business alive. Part of me wishes they had listened years ago, that we could have transformed the family business together. But then I look at what we've built, a company that's not just successful but meaningful, that's helping drive the transition to sustainable luxury. And I realize that sometimes being pushed out of the past is the best way to build the future. Because in the end, the best revenge isn't just proving them wrong. It's proving yourself right in ways they never imagined possible.